Hello everyone. Now I want to talk about screen scraping, which is called surface automation in Blue Prism. So when we are working with applications that are exposing their connectors to Blue Prism, it is easy to spy those elements and then work against them. But in some scenarios, you will find that certain applications, they're not able to expose their connectors to Blue Prism, or maybe they are behind a virtualized environment like a Citrix server, and because of which we are not able to identify the elements on their surface. So these applications appear to be like images to Blue Prism, and to automate such applications, we use screen scraping. So these applications are called thin clients, as opposed to the ones which are exposing their elements to Blue Prism, and that are called thick clients. So in thin clients, these applications they appear to be like an image, as I mentioned, and Blue Prism uh, draws regions on that image, identifying where certain elements are, like text boxes, buttons, radio buttons, drop-down list, submit buttons, and so on. And once we have identified these regions, we can then work against those regions using surface automation techniques. So to show you an example of a thin client, I will use a calculator. Though calculator in Windows, it's a thick client, but we'll assume it to be a thin client. So here I'm inside Blue Prism. I'll go to my studio and we'll create a new object. I'll call this object calc demo, and then use this to configure a calculator. So open up application modeler. Next, Windows application. It's launched from an exe, and it will be launched from calc.exe. Click next. No command line arguments, no working directory, so keeping everything default. Now here, let me first launch my calculator. So if I try to spy this by clicking the identify button in Win32 mode, I am able to spy all the elements in the calculator because it's a thick client. But let's assume it's a thin client and we do not get all these elements being identified by Blue Prism. So to work with thin clients, I change my mode. Right now we are in Win32 mode. When I press Alt key, we come to accessibility mode, and I press Alt again and we enter the region mode. So inside the region mode, we'll take the screenshot of this application. So we'll highlight the complete application. We'll move the cursor so that complete application is highlighted, and we'll press Control left click, which will take a screenshot of this application. Now inside this screenshot, we can start drawing regions. To draw regions, we use this region button, and we'll draw regions around certain buttons. For example, I want to do some application multiplication, like 4 times 8. So you can see I'm drawing approximate region. I'm not drawing exact regions onto this application. These are approximate regions. So I will be doing 4 times 8 equal to. So I've drawn 4 regions, one for each of these, or maybe one for clearing the uh, calculator as well. So I have drawn some regions. Let me rename these regions. These are right now called region 1, region 2, region 3, which are not easy to identify. So I'll start renaming them. This is my clear button. Then this is key 4. This is key 8. This is key star. And this is key equal to. So I'll click OK on this, and we'll see that inside our application modeler, we have all these regions already identified for us. So this is my main screen, and we can start highlighting and verify if we are getting everything. So I'll just say key 4, highlight, and we are getting it. So if you see here, we have drawn approximate regions. These are not exact regions on these keys. I used approximate regions because we would be sending clicks to the center of these regions, and as long as the center of these regions fall on the key itself, we are good enough. Alright, so let's click OK. I'll go and create some action. So the first thing that I need to do is maybe launch or attach. So I'll say attach. To attach, we take the root node. It's a calculator. And then we can start sending the clicks. So to send the clicks, we use the navigate but stage. I'll say here click C. First I will clear my screen, so clear button, and we use global mouse click center. So what these global actions are, we have a couple of these global actions like global mouse click center and global mouse clicks. These global actions, they would work on any application that is active at that moment. So right now if you see this Blue Prism navigate properties is active, so the click will be received by this. So if the calculator, if I bring up the calculator, the clear button is somewhere over here, so which is somewhere over in this region. So it will send a click to this itself, and it will not be received by the actual calculator. So when doing surface automation, you have to be careful that your applications are at the top of the screen. Otherwise, your clicks will be received by whichever application is at that position on top of it. Okay, so and we are sending a click to the center, so which will send a click to the C button as long as the center of that region is on the C button. The mouse button that we need to send, if you are sending a left click, we can leave this blank or we can type left over here, and if you want to send a right click, we'll type right over here. But as I want to send a left click, I'll delete this and we'll keep it empty. Click OK on this. So as I was mentioning, I need to bring that calculator on top. So to bring the calculator on top, let me put another action over here in attach stage, and here I will say again calc not calc demo. I need to bring main screen on the top, so bring main screen, and we'll use activate application. So this will attach and will also bring this screen to the top. Now we are pressing clear key, then we can send clicks to the other keys as well. I want to click on the 4 key, so click 4, take key 4, action is global mouse click center. OK, then another navigate stage for key star. I want to do 4 times 8, click key star, then one more for 8, click key 8, and last for key equal to, click key equal to, which will get me the result. And just to make sure that we are releasing the application, I will also detach it once I'm done. So let's connect all these stages together, and maybe I'll quickly rearrange some of these stages to make it look better. Okay, let's run this. I'll reset, maybe detach, and then run it. So it will attach and activate. Activate will bring it to the top. Then we are clearing the screen. Click 4, click star, click 8, click equal to, and then we are detaching. So we saw that it ran and it did the calculation for us, giving us the result 4 times 8 equal to 32. Now I could have used the clicks in all, like I used separate stages for each click, but I could have maybe opened a single stage, added more rows, and send the clicks in a single navigate stage. But then you wouldn't have been able to see how each click is being sent to the calculator. All the clicks would have been received by calculator in a single go. At least for human eye, it won't be able to identify. So So to make the demo look nice, I separated them into each navigate stage. So that's surface automation. Now we got the result, but we didn't read the result back. Since it appears to be an image, we cannot use this read stage just like that. We'll have to teach Blue Prism like what is the font that is being used, what is the size of that font, what is the color of that font. And once Blue Prism knows these details, it can then look in this image and can read this text for us. So let's do that. Let's identify the font. So to identify the font, let me make this string a little bit larger. So since we have only 10 digits to identify, I have typed in all the 10 digits. But if you are identifying a string, an alphanumeric string, it doesn't mean you have to type all the characters both in upper and lower case and all the digits and all the different characters to identify the font. You just need to have a string reasonably long enough to help Blue Prism identify the text. So to identify the font, we will bring up the application modeler, and here we will go to the main screen, and I will use a new screenshot. So let me first launch it. I think I need to close this. Let me launch and type that string. Now we will go to regions, new screenshot, and right now we are in bitmap mode. If I press the alt key, the mode is not changing, so it's the only mode. Once we have started surface automation and I'm doing further on to that same main screen, so I don't get any other mode, I get bitmap mode. So let me use control left click, and I'll draw one more region for the result. So this is my region, and I'll call this region as result region. And to help identify the font, we have the font over here in the properties. I pull it down and say new identify system font. When we are identifying system font, Blue Prism wants the font smoothing to be disabled, because if font smoothing is enabled like we have right now, Blue Prism will not be able to identify these fonts. So it's asking us, would you like to turn it off now? So I'll say yes, and it opens up the system properties. Under here, advanced, we go to settings, and I need to turn this off, smooth edges off screen font. So I'll turn this off. This will make my fonts uh, not being smooth, but since I captured the screenshot from the previous uh, image, like when the font smoothing was not off, so let me go ahead and cancel this. Uh, I'll take another screenshot, and since this is not refreshed, so let me clear it and now type it again. Now you can see, maybe I don't know how much it will come in the recording, but the fonts are not being smooth. They are not that smooth. So let's take a new screenshot. Control left click. Yeah. Now let me draw that region one more time, since I canceled the previous thing, and I'll call this result region, and we'll go to font, drop it down, identify system font. Now we see that it didn't complain. So we get this wizard to identify the system font. There are two kind of searches that we can do. Either we can do an automatic search or we can do a manual search. First, I'll show you maybe a manual search. Here, whatever region you are, like image you are trying to read, whatever text is there, we help Blue Prism by typing that text over here. Make sure you don't make a typo, otherwise Blue Prism will fail miserably. So we type the exact text over here, then whatever font we expect that to be, I know it's somewhere close to 18 font, and the style, whether regular, bold or italic, and then we click on render list. It generates all the like it gives us all the fonts that are there on this system. Then we go to each font one by one, and it renders this image for this particular text. Then we can compare this image with this image, and if they both appear to be equal, we know we have found the font that we're looking for. Otherwise, we can go to the next uh, font. So we see here that none of these fonts are matching. If I go down uh, and I click on consolas, I can see that this particular font is matching. So the font as well as the size both are matching. Otherwise, if the size needs to be changed, we can change it over here. So this was a manual search. Let me also show you automatic search. Once we are satisfied with the search, we can click on OK button. But let's me first show you automatic search. Here also we help Blue Prism by typing the text, and then this is the search criteria. The lengthier your search criteria is, the longer it will take to search for the exact font and size. So let me just reduce some of these options. I know it's not bold and it's not small in size, so I'll remove all the smaller fonts from here. Um, Maybe just keep these things 16, 18, 20, click OK. So this makes the search string smaller. So we click on search, and it will generate the images for each font and will compare that image with the region. So we see it has already found the font that we were looking for. So it would have searched for multiple fonts. You can select whichever font is more closer to your text, to your image, and then click on OK. Then it's asking me to give a name to this font, so I'll keep this default name console as 18. Click OK. It will extract this font into my database, and then we can click OK on it. So we see we get one more region, result region, and within that region we have like font name already saved as console as 18. So click OK on that. Now to read the result, we can use a read stage. Open the read stage. We'll say read product, or I'll just say read result. Take the result region. Data would be there are like two data that we can use. Read text with OCR. First, let me show you read text with OCR, and its data type is text. We'll store that result in the result. Create this. So this is the simple option, read text with OCR. We don't have to teach Blue Prism the fonts and anything. Click OK on it. Let's link this and run it. Attach it. So it's doing the operation. And we can see it has read the result. So to read this result, though I showed you that font identification and everything by drawing a new region on a new screenshot, but you don't need all of those steps if you're using this option of read text with OCR. Uh, if I want, but this read text with OCR is not that reliable. Sometimes you may and sometimes you may not get the correct result. So if you want reliable results, you will have to use the recognized text, and for this you need to teach Blue Prism the font, the size, and everything. So I have now used recognized text. It needs some inputs like font, color, and so on. Font is already identified by the result. It's like stored in the result region attribute. So I don't have to give the font here, but I need to give the color over here. So the color of this text. So what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot of this, open up Paint, paste that, and maybe I'll zoom in a bit and then take a color picker. Before taking color picker, I'll change the default color to something else so that I can know that I have picked up my color. And using this color pick, from this color picker over here, I will come here, pick up the color. Now it has picked up the color. Go to edit colors, and we see that it has a red, green, blue of 51 each. Now this is a decimal value of 51. Blue Prism needs a hexadecimal value of 51. So hexadecimal of 51 is 33. So I'll give the hexadecimal value 33, 33, 33. Click on OK, reset, and run it one more time. Now this time it will use the font that we have fed into the database to read the result, and this is more reliable than the previous approach. So this, it gives me the result of 32. So that's how we can use these uh, font over here. So we saw that using surface automation, we can send clicks and we can also read the text on our image. So I'll rename this action 1. I'll call this using clicks. I'll duplicate this action, and now I will show you that I can also send keystrokes. So using keystrokes, I don't need these. I will be sending this through keystrokes. So remove this. And to work with keystroke, I don't have to draw regions because if I open up my calculator and I clear my screen by pressing escape, I can simply type into my calculator by pressing 4 star 8 enter or equal to. So I don't have to move my mouse cursor. So using keystrokes, I could do that. So to do that, through Blue Prism, we'll again use the navigate stage. I'll say here press C, which is actually escape. So when we are sending keystrokes, we'll have to take the root node. We don't have to use main screen. So we'll say global send keys. Again, this is a global action, which means um, anything that is on top of that, on top of the screen and it's active, will be receiving this action or thing. So like right now, navigate properties is on top, so it will receive that escape key. So I want to send the key of escape. So there's a special notation for escape, which is ESC in curly brackets. So it will send the escape key, which will clear my screen. Then I will have to send for 4 times 8. So take a new navigate stage. We'll say here press 4, take the root node, say here global send keys, and I will send the key of 4. We'll take another let me copy paste this navigate stage. Though again I am taking different navigate stage, but you can do it in a single navigate stage as well. So I'll say press star, and here uh, I'll use star, click OK. This would be press 8. Notice I'm not using the regions at all. I'm only sending the input to the global send keys. Press 8, and then now I need to send the equal. So I'll take another navigate stage. I'll say press equal. Again, take calc demo, global send keys. Now the text that I want to send is equal, and like this. Or if you want to send the enter key, you can even send the enter key. The notation for sending enter key is this. So you can use either of this option, either type this notation or send equal character. Click OK. Now since I've done all any individual stages, if you would have wanted, you could have done it this way, 4 times 8 equal to, like this. It would have also given the same result, but then through demo this will not make a good good demo, so that's why I use individual stages. So I cancelled that. Okay, let me attach link all of these together. Reset, and we'll align these stages. Let me reset, run it. Again, we need this at the top if we want this to be activated. So we are seeing that all the uh, my mouse cursor is not moving. It's the keystrokes that are being sent to that application, and we got 4 times 8 as 32. Now let's do one thing. What I want to do is 4 plus 8. So if I use instead of star, I want a plus, and here I'll remove this star and I will send a plus. We'll notice it will not work as we are expecting it to be. I'll reset. Let me move this little bit towards left. Run it. and we saw 4 plus 8. Instead of doing anything, any calculation on it, it simply ignored plus and just typed 4 and 8, which made it 48. So the reason it couldn't press plus was because plus has a special meaning in Blue Prism. Plus means plus is a shorthand for sending a shift key. So it tried to send shift 8, which was not any meaningful in calculators. If you want to really send plus, um, we know that plus is on the equal key on my keyboard. So I need a shift equal, so which is like plus equal. So this is like sending an actual plus because this is shift equal to, and shift equal means plus only. So this should work now. If I press OK, reset, run it. Now I should get 4 plus 8 as 12. So you can see plus has been sent, 4 plus 8 is equal to 12, and we are getting that result as 12. One last thing that I want to show you is that right now this automation was working fine since this clicks and this keystrokes is fine, but in clicks, if we use clicks, we were exactly identifying the regions where we had to send the clicks, and then we were sending the clicks to those regions. But not always your application may stay in uh, that same layout. Like if someone maximizes the window, or maybe changes the mode of this calculator, for example, I change it to scientific and I run this again, um, or maybe you get a new version of this calculator which has a different layout, then your keystrokes, sorry, your clicks, if you notice, the clicks are going to some wrong places, like they are going to the places which were originally the keys 4 star 8 and equal to, but now my keys have shifted the positions. So uh, so if we are working in in this kind of an environment where the layout of my application may change just because because the application has been maximized, or a new version of it has been released which has a different layout, then then this approach will not work. What we need to do is either we have to rewrite our automation, or we need to make our automation uh, like use the image search such that it can search for a particular region on my screen and then send a click to that particular region. So what I'll show you is, I'll just show you for a single image, but that can be like done for all the images in my region. So I'll take a new action. I'll say search image, and I need attach, detach, and read result. So let me copy these stages onto this one. Okay. After attaching, uh, let's say I'll just work with the equal image. So to work with the equal image, we'll go to the application modeler. First, we'll save that equal image. So I'll go to key equal to, and maybe go back to my regions, click the regions, and select my equal to key. And here, retain image, it's false. I'll make it true. So this will save my image of equal key. Click OK. Now with that image saved, if I go to key equal, and here under element snapshot, it's not empty anymore. We have an image over here. If you go to any other key, any other region, element snapshot is empty, but for key equal to, it's not empty. There's something in it. Let me select that, maximize this, and we can see that we can view this. So if I click view, I can see that image. We can even save it by clicking export, or we can import a new image as well. So I'll like to save this image. Then I will search for this particular image. So let me export and save this equals image. Let me say equals image. Save it. Now click OK on this. Now that we have the image saved, let me store that in a data item. Take a data item. We'll say equals image. Its data type is image, and we'll import that in the initial value. So click import. Under downloads, we have uh, equals image. We can view it just to verify we got it correctly. Click OK. Now we have the image over here. Let me reset, and we have the image inside here. Uh, so I need to search for this equals image in my application, but for that I need to also take the screenshot of my application, and then within that screenshot I'll search for this particular image. So I don't know what my application will look like because its layout has changed. So we'll capture that the screenshot of the application dynamically through Blue Prism. So to do that, I'll use this read stage, which will read the first, it will read the size of the application that we are automating. Now to work with, to get the size, since the size is changing, it's now it has changed. What I need to do is, if I go to application modeler, I need to draw one more region, which will be dynamic region. So let me go to region editor, and I'll quickly draw one region, and that region can be anywhere on this calculator. It need not be on any particular position because this is my dynamic region. It will keep changing. So this is my dynamic region. Click OK on this. You can see it's position 69 to 49, 15 and 43, but we'll change this. We'll make this dynamic. So we go to the dynamic region, and if I sort it on the match column, we have start x start y and end x end y. So in computer graphics, the origin is on the top left, start x like x axis is on the top edge, and the y axis goes down on the left edge. So you can see that start x start y, it's for the equals button. If I go back to my standard view, this was like that 69 pixels from the left and 249 pixels from the top. And similarly, we have index and y, which was 128 pixels from the left and 292 pixels from the top. Let's make these attributes as dynamic uh, for this dynamic region. Index dynamic and y also dynamic. Now after I made these attributes as dynamic, you can see here that the values have been grayed out. So these values will be provided by the stages that we are using this dynamic region in. So I'll click OK on it. Now inside this reader stage, I will use that dynamic region which I had drawn. So take the dynamic region. Now since this element has attributes, some attributes as dynamic, this params button is now enabled. If I click on this params button, it opens up this window where I need to feed in the dynamic attributes. So start x start y, end x end y. Start x is 0, start y is 0 because I want to capture the screenshot, the complete screenshot of the application. So this is 0 0. I also need to know end x and y, that is this corner. Now how do I know that? Let me click OK on this, also on this. To get the dynamic region, sorry, the dynamic screenshot, let me take one more read stage in between, and here I'll take the main screen and we'll say get bounds on it, which will get me a collection of the coordinates of that. So let me maximize this. I'll store this in bounds of main screen. Okay, create this, and let me rename this. Instead of reader 2, I'll say get bounds of main screen. Okay, so I have this get bounds of main screen, and it will store the size of that main screen inside this collection. So let me use this, or let it be here itself. Let me link these stages, and for now I will simply use this. I will remove this read result. Okay, let me reset, run. It will attach and activate. Now it will get the bounce. So you can see we get row 1 of 1 over here. Let me uh, move it. So if I open this, go to the current values, it has given me the size of this screen. So it is 0 0, and the bottom is 323, which is also the height of it. As you can see, 323 is in two places, bottom and height, and the right is 228. So the right edge is 228 pixels from the left, which is also its width. So 228 228 are common over here. So I have got the size of my calculator using using the main screen um, over here. Now, once I have the size of my application, I can take the screenshot of that application. So to take the screenshot, and now I need to provide index ny. Now I have the index ny inside my collection. So bounds of main screen dot index is right, or maybe the width, whichever field you want to take from this collection should be okay, and the ny is bottom, or maybe the height uh, of this collection. So I have given this size to this to these dynamic attributes inside this dynamic region. Now data would be I need to read the image, so read the image and store it somewhere. So this is my main screen. I'll create this collection, this image, and we'll say read main screen. Okay, so now I have the main screen which is be captured inside this data item. So let me link this to here, and let's see whether we are able to get my main screen. And let me change the view. I'll change it to scientific so that we see whether it's really working or not. So let me reset, run it. So let's check this out. Main screen, if I open it, we have the current value. If I click view on it, and we can see it has captured whatever the screen was inside this this data item main screen. So let's close this. We are able to capture our main screen, and we have the equals image. Now I need to search for this equals image within this main screen. How do we do that? We do that using an action stage. I'll take an action stage, open it, and we'll say maybe search equals image. And there's a business object that we can use to search for image. It's called image manipulation utility. Right now I don't see that over here. I need to first import it. So let me click OK on it, and I'll close this uh, importing image manipulation utility. Now to import it, we go to file, click import, browse, and I need to go to uh, C drive, program files, Blue Prism Limited, Blue Prism Automate. So if you installed it in a different path, you need to type that path. Uh, and in this Blue Prism Automate, we have this VBO folder. Under there, I have for image manipulation, I have this utility. Let me click open on it. Click next. This will import it. Finish. Now again go back to my calc demo. I can now use that utility. I need to close my Object Studio because it will not show me any imported utilities unless I close my Object Studio and reopen it. That's why I had to close it earlier. Now if I go to this action, I should see my image manipulation utility, and I want to use the get sub image position. It takes two inputs, main image and potential sub image. So this is my main screen, and my potential sub image is my equals image. So within this main screen, I will search for equals image. If you go to outputs tab, it returns me three outputs. The coordinates of that image, it returns me the top left coordinate only. So let me save these quickly by clicking this button, and it also returns me a flag called contain, which will tell me whether it really found it or not. So click OK on it. Let's link it. After reading the main screen, I need to go to search equals image. Click here. Okay, let me move some of these down, bring it here, and this is what it returned: x index, y index, and contain. Actually, I don't need result, so let me remove it from here. So let's run this and see if I'm able to really get my equals button. So we saw that it actually found the equals button contained is true, and the position of equals button is 370 pixels from the left, which is over here, and 247 pixels from the top. So it has given me the top left corner of my equals button. Now if I want to send a click on my equals button, I also need to know the maybe the bottom right corner of it, and then send a global mouse click center on it. I cannot get my my bottom right corner. So what I'll do is I will take another navigate stage, and maybe here I'll say click equal. So I'll again use my dynamic region, and dynamic region takes start x, start y, end x, and y as dynamic properties. So open this params button. Start x is my x index, which has been returned by the image manipulation utility. Start y is this y index. End x and end y, I don't know these properties, end x and y. So to make my dynamic region spread over the equals button, what I'll do is I will add maybe tiny values to this x index. I know my equals button is wider than 10 pixels and higher than 10 pixels. So I have taken a safe value which will be still within the equals button only. And then I will send the click to the center of this region, which will again be on the equals button only. So then action would be global mouse click center. Let's click OK. Link this. After I have searched for the equals image, I can link it. Take a pointer, reset, run it. So it should send the click to the equals button top left corner. Okay, so you can see my mouse has moved to the equals button top left corner. Let me change the layout. If I maybe take a programmer mode and see if it works now. Let's reset, run it. And it has correctly identified the equals button and sent a click to the top left corner of my equals button. So it seems to be working. That's how, if you're like right now, what I did was I just hard coded certain things like equals image. I hard coded. Maybe you'll take that as an input to the start stage, uh, and this you can maybe do somewhere outside, and then also pass this also to the start stage, and then you can do the rest of the things as it is over here, and then return from here. Sorry, maybe you don't need this as well and this as well. So you return from this end stage x index, y index, and contain, and then so you can then pass different images, and it will return you the x and y indexes of those images, and then you can send clicks or do whatever you want to do with those regions inside your Blue Prism automation. So that's how we can control any changes in the layout which are not very uh, which are not very drastic changes. They are just layout changes. It will still work in those cases. So that's how we do simple surface automation using Blue Prism. So we saw that how we can identify our application elements using regions. We saw how we tracked elements around the screen. We controlled the application safely using either mouse clicks or keystrokes. And we also learned how we can identify the fonts and read the text from the screen.